Hey everyone, so this is the second video in the series I told you about I was going to do on Twisted Tales for Beauty and the Beast. This video we're reading The Beast Within, A Tale of Beauty's Prince. So in the last video I had said that I didn't think this one was officially sanctioned by Disney. Well, I was wrong. It's actually off of Disney's press, and it was actually published before the other book in 2013? 2014. And I had to take a couple of days before making this video. I read it in a single day, but I needed a couple days to kind of process how I felt about it, because it is pretty different from the other book. It opens with, and again, I took a lot of notes. It opens with the Beast walking the castle grounds, being tormented by these three witches. And my first thought was, okay, is she taking a Shakespearean, take on this? But I don't know, it's kind of weird. So this book, whereas the As Old as Time really kind of, it follows a movie until it, takes the path less taken. This book focuses more on the backstory of the Beast and Gaston. And then in the last 40 pages, we're going to finish up the rest of the movie. So that was kind of weird. So let me go through some of the biggest points I took away from this. First off, statues sneaking up on characters. Okay, I saw this in As Old as Time. It's in this book as well. I'm going to save this really for the next video, but I really want to look up, are these two authors like Doctor Who fans, and they're making references to weeping angels, because each one is like, and all of a sudden I turn around and there was a statue behind me. So that was kind of weird. I don't remember that being in a movie. If I'm wrong, hit the comments, but that was interesting. So another big difference is the Enchantress in this case is the Beast, when he was a prince, his former fiance, and he dumped her because he found out that she was the daughter of a pig farmer. So, she goes to cast the spell, she goes to give him one last chance. He rebuffs her. She casts a spell on him. But she has her three bigger sisters, sticking up for her, like, you can't treat our sister that way, da 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 da, and just losing their minds over the whole thing. So that was, a difference in here. But the backstory of Beast in this book gives him enough time to have wooed women and had a fiance and, gone through wedding preparations, whereas in the other book, he was cursed when he was 11. So unless 17th century or 18th century France was that much different, that you were getting married, that young, which it didn't sound like, it's a completely different take. Or, yeah. One thing that the author does do in this book, which I did find kind of amusing and still a little weird, was the references to other fairy tales and other princes. There's a reference to, oh yeah, I'm not going to be like my friend who, married the housemaid, but, as long as they got that glass slipper issue resolved. So, there's a lot of references like that to other princes. And, in one paragraph, he's, kind of, doing his inner monologue and thinking about how, kissing toads and, what was the other thing? You know, kissing sleeping beauties and, you know, dwarves' houses in the woods. You know, like making references to other Disney films, which I don't know why I find it weird, because you see, especially with the Marvel TV shows now, especially Iron Fist, you see a lot of cross-reference to, especially with Rosario Dawson's character. You know, she's been in Luke Cage, she's been in Daredevil, and, you know, you see Legends of Tomorrow, there's a lot of overlap. Flash, there's a lot of overlap. You know, so I don't know why I find it weird, but I kind of do. And I know Disney does it in the cartoons, especially with Sophia the First and the one in the red dress, the newer Elena. You know, there's a lot of overlap there between those two. But in this case, I don't know, maybe it's just kind of weird because it's like the prince talking about other princes, maybe. But it did kind of strike me as, like, I don't know how to process this. This is interesting, weird. What else? Oh, yeah. So, in this take on the book, the prince and Gaston are actually best friends growing up. And then part of the curse is that people remember the prince less and less as what he was, and the kingdom less and less for what it was. So they start out like thick as thieves, but there's still like this thin film of, you know, well, at the end of the day, he's a commoner, I'm the prince. But they're still really good friends. And then at some point they start going like this. And then the gradual changes of the curse start taking place. And you hear like 3 months after the curse, you know, it already looks like the prince is aged by 5 years. And he starts taking on these scarier, starker aspects to his image. And it just really, really goes like this, to the point where the beast ends up attacking Gaston in the forest. And Gaston comes to the castle, but he doesn't ask for the prince. Like, he just comes in, you know, please help me, I'm injured, da-da-da. Like, he doesn't think to ask about the prince. He doesn't have any memories of being the prince's friend. Like, it's faded, it's gone. So that kind of builds up to the end where, you know, Gaston and the Beast are really, you know, going at it on the rooftop. And throughout the whole thing, you see the Enchantress and her sisters kind of pass through. It's more the sisters that you see, because they're really just egging the Beast on, like, oh, you know, the curse is gonna last, and you're not gonna find anyone to love you, and you're just an ugly beast, and you're gonna die, and da-da-da. Like, really harsh stuff. And like, on the one hand, you can see where it's just like, if you were out with your girlfriends, like clubbing or whatever you guys do, and someone decided to pick on one of your friends, everyone else would be like, oh, you did not just go there, what are you talking about, da-da-da. You know, you see it kind of as that. But at the same time, it's like this other level of malevolence, that they're not just doing it to protect their sister and get vengeance for their sister. They get genuine glee out of it. You know, like at one point they were so close to driving the Beast to death, they put a necklace on their sister to put her to sleep so she won't interfere with it. You know, that's how far they're willing to go. So, you know, if you've read this book, tell me what you think, because like I said, I had to take a couple days to think about this. And there will be another video coming. Like I said, I'm going to compare the two books, and decide who did it better. But tell me what you thought if you read this book or if you read As Old as Time. And I'll put the link to the video in the description. But it did feel like a Disney tale, and it didn't. And I think one of the weird things for me was the tone of it really varied. Like, at times it felt like it was written for like a 5th grader, who's in love with Beauty and the Beast. But then you got these other scenes where the witches are like chanting "rip out her throat," which seems a little more adult than that. So it was, the tone of it just seemed kind of all over the place, and it was a lot of the backstory, and like I said, in the last 40 pages, they wrap up the rest of the movie. You are spared any awkward, scenes from the movie, and, having to sit through Be Our Guest as, a novel. But I don't know, guys. Tell me what you thought. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. I think the average rating on Goodreads, I didn't write it down, but it was higher than 3. Tell me what you thought. I'm kind of, this is one of those books that I'm kind of lost on. I'm not sure what to think about it. I anticipate it's going to be one of those books that, every so often when I'm having trouble sleeping, it's going to come back to me, and I just kind of ruminate on it some more. But, so that's my review. 3 stars. It was okay. There'll be one more video coming out. We're going to compare this and the As Old as Time. Yeah, I'm lost for words on this one. So hit me up in the comments, click like, subscribe if you like this video, want to see more like it. And until next time, readers, it won't be too long.